Call this May 26, 2026 City of Horicon Council meeting to order. Please do the roll.
Forrest.
Here.
Jim.
Here.
Christine. Here. Dwayne.
Here.
Lisa. Here.
All right, can you guys join us in the pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any public appearances today? Anyone want to? Last call. All right. Is there a motion to act on council minutes of April 21st, April 28th, and May 7th?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Concerns? If not, clerk, please call the roll.
Jim.
Aye.
Forrest.
Aye.
Christine. Aye. Dwayne.
Aye.
Lisa. Aye.
All right, Public Works, Jim.
There was no meeting, so no report.
You just gonna skip me like that, boss?
Oh, P&F, Forrest. You go next.
Great, so we did have a meeting May 9th, called to order at 6 PM, all members present. Approved our minutes for April. We had a motion for accounts receivable for an open records request bill. We approved the start of an EMS upgrade to basic life support to advanced life support. We approved an EMS agreement with the Village of Kokoski. We had a motion for the interoperable radio grant program with the police department. We had a discussion about part-time administrative assistant for the police department. We discussed the approval for the Urban Goose Team Roundup permit. Motion to approve professional services with Bucklands and approve Gaylors to complete the annual tax increment district report. We approved our bills and set the next meeting for June 16th, 6 PM at City Hall here in the chambers, and adjourned at 7 PM.
Thank you. Next would be the Public Safety Committee report.
All right, public safety, we had our meeting on May 12th at 6 PM and all members present. Motion by Frani, second by Sullivan to approve the minutes from the April 14th meeting. Motion carried, all voting aye. No public appearances. Chief Rickon was provided, he provided a monthly update, working on a plan for distributing bike helmets that he received. Worked on National Night Out, April 4th at Riverbend Park, and worked on donations and event details. Emergency Management Director Werner Biederman provided a monthly update, discussion on body armor and ballistic helmets for active shooter events. EMS Coordinator Dustin Wook provided a monthly update via email. Fire Chief Mark Tesh was there, provided a fire update. Motion by Frani, second by Sullivan to approve operator retail licenses and applications. All voting aye, motion carried. Motion by Frani and second by Sullivan to approve beer garden applications. All voting aye, motion carried. Next meeting was set for June 10th at 6 PM at the Public Safety Building. Meeting adjourned at 6:38 PM.
Thank you. All right, next we got Park and Rec. Marie would normally read, I'll read it real quick. It was May 18th, all members were present. They approved the February 18th minutes. Cody provided a monthly parks report. Park bathrooms open, or being ready to open the pool for summer. The batting cage and signs are probably installed by now, and the playground is going to be installed at Riverbend pretty soon. The YMCA Director Ellie Moore provided a monthly rec report. Currently, they have pickleball, boys baseball, girls softball, coach pitch, and the senior group meeting on Tuesdays in Bishop Park going to be starting soon. August 4th is going to be the senior group's community day with free games, prizes, ice cream, pool entry, and bike inspections. And new sports equipment has been purchased for down there with the fundraiser program accounts fund. Then Ellie provided an aquatic report. Opening day is 6/6, so not this Saturday, but next. Hiring lifeguards and pool staff is ongoing. Sounds like they had a lot of applications, which is good. Season passes are already being sold here and on the YMCA website. Swim lessons are open for registration. Executive Director of the Horicon Phoenix program, Schmitz, sent an update from the Friends of the Park itty bitty boat race fundraiser is 8/16, so August 16th. Selling tickets for the boat race, and again, the playground at River Bend is being installed soon. They also discussed the Horicon plans, and then the next meeting they set up for Monday, June 15th at 5 p.m. at Kiwanis. The meetings that they said are going to be held on the third Monday at 5 p.m. typically. Location determined monthly to visit different parks within the city. It adjourned at 6:48 p.m. Next we got Plan Commission, Lisa.
There wasn't any meeting.
Library report, Anna.
I just want to follow up with our story time with Horicon Police Department. So thank you to Chief Birkin and Sergeant Stocks. I think it went really, really well for our first one. We learned a lot of things, and going forward, it'll be awesome. And then our summer library program has unofficially started. So today was the first day that people could come get their bingo sheets. We're not going to receive prizes, and we're not going to officially start until June 1st. So this upcoming Monday. That'll run all throughout June and almost all the way through July. So we're excited for that, for our busy season. And again, I just want to say thank you to everybody for being understanding and rolling with all of our punches that we're bringing.
Thank you. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
All right, mayor's report, I don't have really anything. So moving forward, looking for a motion of the public hearing for Quick Trip and Sky Enterprises Group. For the Class 8 liquor and fermented malt beverages license.
Second.
Looking for a motion to close.
Okay, make motion close public hearing.
Second.
All right, so it's closed. Act on issuance of a Class 8 liquor and fermented malt beverage licenses for Quick Trip, going on Lake Street, Sky Enterprises on 306 Washington.
So,
Second.
Any discussion?
make a motion to close close.
It's not public hearing, it's a motion.
We already did the public hearing.
This is action.
Make motion to close public hearing.
All right, please go roll.
Jim?
Aye.
Forrest?
Aye.
Christine? Aye. Lisa? Aye. Dwayne?
I will open the public hearing for Quick Trip on Barstow and Building Court. Anyone here to speak on that? All right, now I'll need a motion to close.
So move.
Second.
Let's go to roll.
Jim?
Aye.
Forrest?
Aye.
Dwayne?
Aye.
Lisa? Aye. Christine? Aye.
All right, look for a motion to issue the Class 8 liquor licenses for Quick Trip Barstow and Building Court.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, clerk, please call the roll.
Forrest?
Aye.
Christine? Aye. Lisa? Aye. Dwayne?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
All right, I will open a public hearing for Class 8 liquor cider only license for Quick Trip on Barstow.
Make motion close.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Jim?
Aye.
Christine? Aye. Lisa? Aye. Dwayne?
Aye.
Forrest?
Aye.
All right, on the issuance of the Class 8 liquor cider only license for Quick Trip on Barstow.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Clerk, please call the roll.
Jim?
Aye.
Dwayne?
Aye.
Lisa? Aye. Christine? Aye. Forrest?
Aye.
All right, I'm opening a public hearing on a Class B liquor and fermented malt beverage license for the golf course, Legion, Danny Boys, Rock River Tap, Aronda's, Gingers, and Blue Heron.
Make motion close.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Jim?
Aye.
Christine? Aye. Forrest?
Aye.
Lisa? Aye. Dwayne?
Aye.
All right, next I need a motion to act on the issuance for a Class B liquor and fermented malt beverage license for the golf course, the Legion, Danny Boys, Rock River Tap, Aronda's, Gingers, and Blue Heron.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Forrest,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Christine,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Dwayne.
All right, I'm opening a public hearing on the issuance of beer garden licenses for Rhonda's Blue Heron and Rock River Tap.
Make a motion to close.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Christine. Aye. Jim,
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
All right, now we have to act on the issuance of the beer garden licenses for Rhonda's Blue Heron and the Rock.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Everyone understands that all these licenses are renewable every year, right? That's why there's so many of them.
Yeah. At the same time every.
I didn't know that, thank you.
Oh.
We'll get to our next one.
Maybe. Big box.
Any other discussion? All right, now clerk, please call the roll.
Jim,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
Christine. Aye. Forrest.
Aye.
All right, next, acting on accounts receivable for an open records request. Forrest?
So we are looking to invoice the
You want to
request,
make a motion first, then we'll chat.
make a motion.
You're a second?
Second.
Go ahead, Forrest.
So we have an open net records request that has not been picked up or paid for. Apparently this is like one of the first times we've really ever had this, so we're looking to invoice it so we can get it billed and collected for the time and money spent for the lawyers and everything else that we did for the open records request.
So you're including the lawyer fees plus the
Right, well, that's usually,
$145?
yeah, that's usually what we charge, is what it costs to do the open records,
Yeah.
because there's redaction and other stuff that had to be done with the lawyers.
Yeah.
Those fees get passed on to the requester.
Okay,
So that'll be itemized and invoiced for the person requesting.
Were we really expecting him to pay
It's being invoiced, that's what we're asking
The
for.
attorney fees though, I think. is- We weren't going to be billing for the attorney fees.
Okay, that's just city costs.
that way, that way for whoever's next, if anyone else ever asks for them, at least we have them redacted. I thought,
Oh,
Sure,
that
guys.
that makes sense.
I guess I thought.
I guess whatever
I
the
don't know.
policy is, right? The
This
attorney
is-
recommended we don't charge the attorney. Oh, okay. Then, yeah.
Because
Just
those,
for the
those
printing
records
time.
can be used for other requests.
Yeah, so there's
That
like
makes sense.
administration fees for our office and then the copy fees and things like that. That would go
Yeah,
there. That
so
would
just
be
whatever
done.
the standard fees are. That's
what kind
right.
of total are you looking at?
Chris, how much was it?
140, it's in your packet.
Yeah.
$44 or something.
It's in our package.
Just
Um,
$145?
$145, yeah. It's in the letter, that Chris had sent out, yeah.
And this kind of sets that precedence going forward.
For the future.
Oh, it was in the bundle with the beer garden request.
I got it right here. What happens if he doesn't pay it? What if he doesn't pay it?
Yeah, we charge interest then, so on accounts receivable for our office, let's just say somebody doesn't pay their, snow removal bill. Every like 90 days, we rack up interest on it and send a new bill.
Does it ever go to collections then or anything?
Yeah, sometimes it
Does
does.
it go on tax?
Or a tax bill?
It goes to collections. We don't put it on tax.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we're just gonna eat the lawyer bill then?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was considerably more than $145.
Yes, I realize that.
Great. Any other questions for Forrest or Chris? Or comments? Great. Very good. Clerk, please call the roll.
Forrest.
Aye.
Jim.
Aye.
Christine. Aye. Dwayne.
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
All right, next we're acting on an EMS upgrade for BLS to advanced life support. Forrest?
So I'll make a motion to allow the application to be filled out to upgrade our EMS from basic life support to advanced life support.
Okay.
Second.
How long is that gonna take you?
2 years. Yeah,
Well,
2 years.
That's the full upgrade limitation. It'd be 2 years from the finalization of the application.
Why don't you just tell everyone kind of what the difference is between the two, because the only ones that would know are the ones who are at.
Okay. So I can tell you that the application part of it itself, the one I printed out that Carol did last was 40-some pages. So it's gonna take me a little bit to get through it, probably most of summer, before I can even worry about approvals and kicking off their 24-month period. So after approval, we have 24 months to get to a staffing with at least one advanced EMT 24/7. The main differences, starting IVs, IV medications. In the event of a cardiac arrest, we can actually do IO like the paramedics do, give fluids right away, so we get better resuscitation results with faster fluids. The biggest money saver part of it is actually in the diabetic aspect of it. So in diabetic high blood sugar, we can give fluids, which is primarily what the hospital does initially to get those folks feeling better. On the flip side of the low blood sugar, we have glucagon currently at our level. It's an IM injection, takes 15, 20 minutes to act. Whereas if you can establish an IV, it's within 60 seconds to get glucose through the system and back in the body. And a glucagon by itself is $300. Cheapest place we can get is the local pharmacy. Whereas a bag of 10% dextrose I can get from our pharmaceutical supplier for less than $10.
Do you want to explain to council too how this will benefit our EMS going forward?
Yeah, so this will show, especially in the stages of a lot of combinations around us, the services closing and stuff. This is a proactive step towards trying to show people that we want to be progressive like the service used to be years ago. If you're ever looking to go full time in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to want to have some sort of an upgrade stepping stone, and this is it. Because to have a full-time service with a BLS provider just doesn't make sense. Your average return on investment, your average bill rate is about 25% higher at the ALS rate, even at what we're doing versus like a paramedic rate is a little bit higher. But this is a good stepping stone for the city that if we ever want to go towards a full-time service, this will help.
I have a stupid question. If we are an ALS service, then every call we can charge at ALS service, or just
Only the
that
ones who
require
are performing the assessment and the treatments on, which it really depends on the provider and how progressive they want to be towards that patient. You know, any nausea vomiting patient, you could ALS them because you can give fluids, you can give Zofran, stuff that we can't currently do.
I was just curious. Does council have a question? Any questions?
Did you receive commitment from your employees by chance?
So I wasn't at the meeting, which was actually the day before, but I have 3 verbals from people that attended that meeting, and then Jean's daughter gave a strong verbal that once this is in place and up and running, she'd come back and run more hours, which she hasn't done in a long time. So it's a step. Obviously, I still need 3 or 4 more A's after that, but without even starting, we're at a huge step in the right direction. And then for the rest of the council that wasn't at the meeting last week, it's a $1,700 per person cost in addition to what we already trained for. It's $1,700 more for training to get these people through this education, so per person. So there is a price tag on the training part of it, but
Is there a date where you're looking at implementing?
I'm hoping for end of summer.
Okay.
Because myself and Sam, I mean, we could start tomorrow if that was how fast we get it through the state.
So basically, it would be flex AMT until the 2-year mark when we have to either go or not go. Flex means like if Dustin is on or if Sam is on, they can do ALS. If it's me on, I can do BLS. But it will also save money as far as paramedic intercepts. Because I mean, they really charge us like $350 for an intercept, and a lot of them are for fluids.
Really?
So it's,
Okay, when you're.
So
a
now we
flex-
can charge that
When
instead
you're
of
a
paying
flex EMS, like you said, can we charge ALS during the flex period?
yes, you can bill for what you're using. So we can bill at an ALS rate, and I think in the packet, I put in a proposed rate increase for BLS and ALS.
Yeah.
And realistically, I need
Those would be the same
about 200 calls to break even on supplies and training for next year. And it's really not a lot when you consider we run 600 calls a year.
But aren't charges that are, I guess, levied by an EMS around here, aren't they all pretty much the same by city?
They're
Like if you're
probably-
doing BLS, aren't the agencies around here basically charging the exact same, or are they charging different?
I don't know. I don't actually know what everybody else is charging, but like Mayville's at ALS rate, Beaverham's ALS rate.
And our ALS rate, we're gonna try to match similar. what we
Yeah,
charge.
from other services I've experienced with, I think we're on the low end of what we could be getting, but
I guess that's where I was going with this.
yeah,
Maybe a rate study or something.
do a rate study. Yeah, we got time for that.
I don't have a vote, I just was curious, okay.
Yeah, I threw it out there and we look at the packet. We're literally 200 calls. You're at break even. And
So what would you guess out of the 660 we had last year, ALS would have been helpful?
somewhere in that 250 to 300 point, I think I could have ALS on my own.
All right, does anyone on council have any other questions?
Wasn't there grant money too, to pay for it?
Yes, so
I
And
don't
that
think
was-
we talked about
that
that
was
yet.
part of this, so we got $32,000 in grant money. We spent $4,000 on training and $28,000 left over. I put about 8,000 of that grant money towards this to buy all the supplies. So I got jump bags and EZIO drivers, stuff that are durable equipment, can use them more than once. And then there's about $4,000 in there in supplies that is one-time use disposable. But yes, the grant was part of this too.
Right.
So that actually, to start up this year yet, there's no cost to the city unless we have a lot of interest in going to training right away.
That way you can budget for it for next year, right? For the new costs, the increased costs. It'll be in next year's budget, so.
Yeah, in 27, I'm predicting about $10,000 in training just to get it off the ground. And then, like I said, about $4,000 in disposable supplies year over year.
And we got 24 months from the time the state approves us for the ALS.
Before we have to do it every time, yeah.
All right, any other questions? Any other comments? All right, hearing none, clerk, please call the roll.
Horace.
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
Christine.
Aye.
Jim.
Good luck with this, Chief. All right, next we're acting on fiscal year 26 interoperable radio grant program award. Forrest.
So I'll make the motion to approve the fiscal year 26 interoperable radio grant program award to be distributed with a priority to the police department.
Second.
And Chief can explain more about the grant and what happened.
All right, we got a second. Go ahead, Chief.
Well, we had every department apply for that grant. Well, that's not the way that grant works for municipality. So we got the maximum we were allotted for the city of Horicon, but not for each individual department. It makes sense, I think, to start with the police department because we use the radios more than anybody else. And should grant money come up next year, maybe the fire department or DPW or EMS can apply. I don't know if it's granted. If they're gonna say we already gave Horicon money, so I don't know. I don't know enough about this grant. I don't think anybody really knows because we were told to do it this way, which is why we all met together and all filed this paperwork, and it was kind of a pain in the butt, I'll be honest with you. For them to say, oops, only the city gets it, not each individual department. So we got 40,000 from the state. The city's on the hook for 10,000 of that, totaling 50,000. We signed up for that, but we knew that going in. We have till June something of 2027 to spend that money. So that 50 grand that we have will pretty much cover the whole police department. We might be a little one way or another, if we have too much money in there, then maybe we'll start with like Warner or a couple EMS radios to maximize that grant money that we get.
But some of those other departments actually budgeted for some radios. Did you talk to any vendor yet to see if we can get some
Yeah,
mass discount? If
Well, we did.
use the
We
money
got-
that EMS put in and fire put in?
we got two, one from GenCom and one from Nielsen up in Green Bay. So far, they're almost identical.
Yeah.
What
are we looking for a radio?
For a handheld, 4,000, 4,400, I think. Dwayne, does that sound about right?
I think so.
Squad radios are more, 5,500, I believe, for a
So the
squad radio.
mobile's more than a handheld, but that's normal.
Yeah, it is. It's totally normal. And they're half the price of Motorola's. These are Kenwoods.
So you can get 9
Yeah, and
or 10 if
the
you
squad we
want.
ordered last year doesn't need one because that's a dual band already. So we save a little bit of money there. I think there's one other one that we can recycle that might be dual band. So we're gonna save money where we can. But it's gonna be right around that.
Your officers share radios.
No, they don't share them, each other. Yeah, so we need 10 handhelds for the PD. And I think we said we need one base station, one mobile for the server room, and then 3 additional for the squad cars. And the SRO car is not gonna get one, just doesn't need it. He'll have a handheld. So it's not like we're putting them in everywhere just because we've got this money. If we have extra money, then we'll start, like I said, maybe with Dustin's people or Mark's people or whatever, Cody's people to maximize that.
And how much did you budget this year for radios? No budget.
We didn't budget anything for radios this year.
So basically the grant's gonna cover the mobiles.
The grant, yeah, the grant will.
But I got,
What we talked about though at PNF is that we'll budget in 2027 for this.
We will be budgeting the 10 grand that the city's on the hook for, we will be budgeting that for 2027.
Because we have until June of
That makes sense.
27 to spend money, so we're gonna budget.
I'm more concerned about the departments, like, I know you guys, fire for sure, budgeted for some radios, Cody for sure, budgeted for some radios.
Cody budgeted for 8, but it sounds like he's gonna buy 3 or 4 dual bands now, because why not? And he said he can get by with 3 or 4 dual bands.
And he's watching right now, he's been sending me messages all the time.
Yeah.
So, he hasn't said anything, but at least that way we. Got a quorum yet? Yes.
Yep.
Thanks, Jim.
And I don't know if, Dwayne, you probably know about the dual band. Eventually, by a certain year, all the radios have to be dual band, right?
Yeah.
The ones we have now.
They're gonna
The
switch over
ours
to-
Will be.
Yeah, they're gonna switch over to fully digital, I think, Dwayne, 2030 or 2031, it's everything in the.
It's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a while, yeah,
We actually have all heard the pitch.
yeah.
Because safety,
Oh, yeah, duh, okay.
Safety,
I
personal
didn't
line.
realize
I
that.
just wanted to make sure it was talked about at council for the audience, for the citizens to
Yeah.
hear it.
And Dwayne's got these new radios that we're looking to buy. You budgeted for 3 or 4 of them, didn't you?
I
Your box light?
budgeted for 4 portables and 2 squad radios and 1 inside the base station.
Okay.
My cost, it's supposed to be 27,000, I think it's gonna cost the city for that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about half the price of
Yeah.
Motorola.
Right.
Motorola was 51,000 and 1 less portable.
That is a deal.
Yeah, and I'm sure, Schmidt's a Motorola guy, I'm sure they're going with Motorola's.
Yeah.
I'm sure they probably will, but that's a ton.
As long as the radios talk back and forth, that's all. that
Yep,
matters. All right. We do have,
That was the second.
yeah, we have a motion and a second. If there's anything else, we'll call the roll.
Forrest,
Aye.
Christine,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Dwayne.
All right, next, we're gonna act on the Urban Goose Team Roundup permit. Forrest,
Motion to approve the Urban Goose Team Roundup permit in the amount of $3,500.
Second.
any discussion on the Urban Goose?
What is that?
Well, we don't like to go into detail.
Murdering geese, Lisa.
We relocate geese from Horicon. Hey, easy, Christine. I think I've never said that.
No, Lisa,
Well, if
no.
you do that, they feel really
They've
good.
been doing it for a long
I
time.
do, right, you taste next day.
We missed 2 years in the last like 20 years.
They are just, they're,
To be more exact, they basically take the ones that are kind of wrecking O'Leary, the golf course, couple homes along there. They, in the parks where there's bolting and a lot of unsightly stuff. But like I said, in the last 20 years, 2 years we didn't. So it's up to council to determine.
never witnessed it.
Huh?
I've never witnessed it.
So the application has been submitted. I talked to Mike today. They got the application. We're gonna come up with some dates in the near future if you guys approve the Horicon participating in. It's not just Horicon, it's all across the state, so
Can't you just move them?
that's what we're gonna do, Lisa.
You can move them straight to my pond.
All right, any other questions for chief? If not, Cliff, please call the roll.
Forrest,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Christine,
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
All right, 27 is acting on a professional services agreement with Bucklands, Forrest.
So it's a motion to approve the professional services agreement with Bucklands in the amount of $11,220 with $2,220 coming from the contingency fund.
Second.
And I believe this is the
Compost.
the trees.
It's where they grind the leaves and the grass clippings and then they shred the brush pile and then we have a compost.
And it is the $2,220 over what we budgeted for, so that's why it's coming from the contingency fund.
You know, we have exceptionally more brush than we've had.
Yes.
The tornado stuff, it's been the wind storms and
The
stuff.
storms have created a lot of extra.
I'm sure some of that is also fuel.
Yep.
Since fuel's gone up so much.
Yeah. Mr. Fuel.
You ever see that big machine that he's out there with? It runs its fuel.
It's impressive. All right, any other questions for Rich while he's here? All right, not Cliff, please call the roll.
Forrest,
Aye.
Christine,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Dwayne.
All right, number 28 is to act on Ayers to complete the annual tax increment district or the TID reports. Forrest,
So make a motion to approve Ayers to complete the annual tax increment district report in the amount of $5,500.
Second.
So this report is something that former clerk treasurer had been able to complete. We were unable to find how she was doing it. So hopefully this is a one-time thing where it's going to end up being a training for our current treasurer, director of finance, so that we don't have to pay for it year to year.
all right, any other questions or concerns for Forrest or Christie? Right here, none, Cliff, please call the roll.
Forrest.
Aye.
Christine,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Dwayne.
All right, 29, Forrest, I did get a text from Cody saying to make sure he had the 14.50 an hour, so
Do you have a name?
they'll know tomorrow.
That's why it's a probational, hire because, oh, sorry.
Yeah, obviously, they'll vote on the next month.
Yeah, so this is gonna go to council twice. So for the probation, this is just allowing Cody to pick an employee.
Okay.
But then it'll come back to council next month with the employee's name to take them off of a probational period.
So move.
Second.
All right, any questions or concerns on why we're hiring a probational temporary seasonal employee? Basically, we need someone to help cover in Ryan's absence for the summer. So it's easier to get someone in that knows what they're doing, and kids are cheap. All right, hearing no concerns, clerk, please call the roll.
Forrest,
Aye.
Christine,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Dwayne.
All right, acting on the sign design for the Martian Crossing Business Park.
So we've seen this sign before. Essentially, we were approving the sign in general, but we didn't approve the design of it. So that's why it has to come back to council. So I'm speaking for Alex and Cody tonight on this, so. So yeah, oh, I know, big shoes to fill. I did excuse him from tonight because, I didn't feel like it was necessary to bring him in for the 5-minute conversation, maybe that we would have. So, again, we approved that Lacrosse Sign Group was going to be doing the signage. It's just now on the design that we are approving.
All right, someone want to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Is it expandable for more than 4 businesses?
I don't know the answer to that question, but it looks like there are 4 business spots, 3 including Marine Park Technical College.
Yeah, that'd be my only question, because I would like to think we're gonna get more back there. Unless someone's gonna come and take a big chunk of it.
Yeah, I think right now that 4 is kind of corresponds to the 4 lots. Assuming that they're each gonna take a big lot, but yeah, what are you gonna do with,
It splits.
yeah, if someone puts a strip mall or something up there?
Probably didn't think of that, right?
So if it's a strip mall, I'm guessing they're gonna name it, and then that name of that strip mall will be in that business name spot, but
And that's gonna have a whole sign on its own.
yeah,
Strip mall will on its own sign anyway.
that was my only question. Then Andrew goes in there. And who we're gonna put on it, and then who decides who's gonna be put on it.
How many lots are available for businesses back there yet? I mean, where
In theory,
in
4,
in
but-
theory, four.
but those can be split up or combined into whatever somebody wants to purchase.
So we would have a problem there.
You could add it.
Is there a way that this sign can be,
I'm assuming these names are replaceable, and, you know, they
the
can be
business
moved
is
in
1,
and
2, and
out.
3?
So I'm sure they can design them so there's 2 names on one slide.
Right, based on how much of
Yeah,
a lot they purchase, they get signed
So-
space accordingly.
I was just wondering if there was a way that they could add on or,
Well, if there was like a multi-building, I think that's what they would do. So like, let's say like one side was like, a Quiznos and then the other side was a McDonald's or something. They could probably put, instead of business 1, McDonald's / Quiznos, you know, so they could probably put it on one of these business lines then, I'm assuming, because that's one building maybe, but
I just can't imagine that it's we'll be the only ones that have ever gone through this.
And I also think the ones that have the big signs in the air, like an Ace or something, doesn't need to have their business on the little park. They can see their sign.
they would have their own
Mile away.
signage.
Yeah, especially if they're roadside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's more for the, hey, this is where you turn to go into Marine Park. or
Right.
you're going somewhere else.
Right.
I mean, you can see the Curry sign a long way away, but you probably didn't know the Chinese restaurant was also
Right.
there, or coast to coast.
Right,
I think that's kind of the idea.
okay.
But I like your enthusiasm for it. We're gonna fill that park up.
Yes, Josh is.
I'm trying. Is there any other questions or comments on the sign? If not, please call the roll.
Forrest,
Aye.
Christine,
Hi.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Lisa.
Hi,
Next, we're acting on the Horicon Senior Group request to rent 1909 Jersey Street building at District Park on Tuesdays, June 2nd through August 25th, 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Any questions or discussion?
So the rec department is part of the list of organizations. Okay.
Not for profits.
Yep.
They get their fees waived.
All right, hearing nothing else, clerk, please call the roll.
Christine.
Aye.
Forrest,
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Lisa.
hi.
Number 32, acting on the approval of memorandum of understanding between the city of Horicon and the Marine Park Technical College, and authorize the mayor and city clerk to execute the appropriate deed material for expansion of Lot 2.
So moved.
Second.
Just to confirm, this is based on our previous discussions as far as them expanding and taking over the wetlands, so no longer city responsibility.
Yeah, this is just an authorization to let basically Chris handle the work on a deed, and then I just sign it and we get moving. All right, any other questions? Clerk, please call the roll.
Forrest.
Aye.
Christine. Aye. Lisa.
Aye.
Dwayne.
All right, operator licenses, Dwayne.
Make a motion to,
Just hold on a second. Actually, you want to do this one? Explain how this works. If
Make a
there's one.
motion to approve everyone but Sarah Kettner.
everyone but what?
Sarah Kettner.
Okay.
See what we'll have.
Better even.
All right. I guess we can just list the names you got.
You do?
So you can
Okay,
listen.
so, motion to approve, licenses for 1 year ending June 30th, 2027 for Sarah Benzing, Presley Kale, Sarah Hannah, Michael Miera, Felicia Rowland, and Hannah Sabuski.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Forrest.
Aye.
Christine. Aye. Lisa.
Aye.
All right, the 2 years. Dwayne,
Make a motion to approve, 2-year licenses, June 30th, 2027. For Thomas Butson, Ann Cook, Todd Cook, Mercedes Hurley, Lisa Nicholson, Ashley Rader, Casey Schmoody, Tanya Steinbeck, and Robert Wagner.
Second.
any discussion?
These are all chief approved, correct?
Correct.
All right, any other comments? Clerk, please call the roll.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Forrest.
Aye.
Christine. Aye. Lisa.
Aye.
All right, acting on the financial statement for April, Forrest.
Motion to approve the financial statement is provided in your packet.
Second.
All right, any discussion, or questions for Forrest? Kristen? All right, if not, clerk, please call the roll.
Forrest.
Aye.
Christine. Aye. Lisa.
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Acting on the bills for May, Forrest.
Make a motion to approve the bills for May in the amount of $1,128,190.47.
Second.
All right, clerk, please call the roll.
Forrest.
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
Christine. Aye.
Shows the next meeting date, June 23rd, which is the fourth Tuesday of the month. Forrest, will you be there?
Maybe.
So I won't.
What?
That's my week. I go to Birchwood every year, so I need you here.
Let's know that.
If you're not, I'll drive 5 hours back for a meeting and drive back.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm basically seeing what you're doing.
23rd, yeah, I'll be here.
So next meeting date is June 23rd, regular scheduled time. Do I have a motion to adjourn without Jim being here?
So move.
Second.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Forrest.
Aye.
Dwayne.
Aye.
Lisa.
Aye.
Christine. Aye.
Adjourned at 6:43. Hold on a sec. I got it on the screen.